So we know that in 2022, the stock market has done nothing but go down and down and down, and nobody really is excited about investing, and there's no real hope in the markets anywhere. And that seems like the perfect time for Congress to announce that they wanted to ban stock trading amongst congressmen, which makes complete sense because there was a lot of outroar about people using inside information, like Nancy Pelosi's, like the figurehead of stock trading in Congress, even though she's not the best at it, which is kind of funny why she's like a figurehead of it. They did say that they are now announcing a bill that would ban Congress from trading stocks, and we all know it's not going to pass. But it's not even going to get the chance to pass because it has already been called off. We can see right here, just in, House Majority Leader indicated the party wouldn't move ahead with a planned vote to ban stock ownership by members of Congress due to concerns about how the rules would work and whether they would serve to reduce rather than increase transparency. I don't know why this is such a hard topic for lawmakers to go under. We do live in the year 2022. Technology is everywhere. It's at our fingertips. Information is instant. It is not hard to make that information instant. You could say every member of Congress, whenever they buy a stock, tweet it out. They have to tweet that they just bought the stock. The minute that they do it, we could get down to that detail because that is the simplest way to do this. I don't know why we have 30 days, you have to say 45 days before you have to disclose. If you are in Congress, let's make it very simple. Every time you even think about buying a stock, tweet it out. It's like a pretty normal, common sense type thing. You know, we live in 2022, modern era, information everywhere. We shouldn't be waiting 30 days to see what insider trading is going on in the government. And we see the congressional voting on the politician stock trading ban will now happen after the midterms, if at all. I don't know like what is actually going on with this. Like, why are they pushing the vote off? Why don't they just vote on it? Why don't they make a bill that makes actual sense instead of these month-long periods of no transparency? It just doesn't make sense at all, but this is the route that they're going down. This is the bill right here. We can see it's 26 pages, lists out everything, normal type of bill stuff. But like the majority of Congress, I'm not going to read the bill, and we're going to look at what people on Twitter are talking about who are breaking it down, facing the problems with this bill already. With one, circumvents the legal rules for blind trust by allowing the creation of fake blind trusts. Great, so long as they're approved by a majority vote or OGE in the executive branch. So it's a weird thing with Congress because no matter what they pass, even if they pass the most egregious bill that would do everything to just stop stock trading and take everyone's profits, who enforces that other than Congress themselves? So even if someone breaks the bill, which people have done with even the Stock Act, which is a $200 fine, like a slap on the wrist for insider trading and making millions, you need Congress to enforce their own bill and enforce their punishments. And when you have Congress enforcing punishments on Congress, they're just not going to punish themselves. Why would they do that? And he goes over kind of terms that aren't defined well enough, like diversified. What does that mean? How diversified does that have to be? All of this types of stuff. And then you see requires written requests for people to obtain documents with compliance, with restrictions. And it just does. Why are there so many gatekeeps here? Just put it on Twitter. If Nancy Pelosi goes out and wants to buy Apple stock, she should just buy Apple stock, go on her phone and tweet, just bought 300 Apple shares. It's not that hard. If you want to be transparent, there's your transparency. Just tweet what you're doing. And this is the big problem. For it allows ethics committees to waive penalties, which we've seen how that goes under the Stock Act. We've seen this countless times. People make millions of dollars in stocks, don't report the stocks that they're trading like they're supposed to within 45 days or something like that. And they break all the rules. The punishment's a $200 fine, which is, who cares? That's like saying, Elon Musk, you have a $200 fine. He's not even looking at that. None of these guys are looking at that. And on top of it being such a ridiculously low punishment, they're not even enforcing it. This committee comes in and says, well, we're not going to punish ourselves. It goes back to the same argument. Congress punishes Congress. Why would you punish yourself? It just doesn't make sense. So, all of this is kind of in the air, fluff, to sound good, but in reality, nothing's going to happen. And he talks about from a purely strategic standpoint, bills designed to fail by being so broad as to cover Supreme Court, congressional staff, POTUS, v. POTUS. I don't. That's the first time I've seen it said as that. Pelosi will tell you the bill is strong, but don't be fooled. There is not a bill constructed to pass, which seems like every bill in the government now is put a title on it that sounds good, construct it so egregiously that it won't pass, and then get mad at the other side when they don't pass it because for some reason the title was good, even though the bill had nothing to do with what the title's about. And if you're asking yourself, there's no way that people in the government are better investors than people like Warren Buffett, Peter Thiel, Peter Lynch, even Cathie Woods, maybe. These are all investors who have great names. You know, people know who they are, but they don't even consistently beat the S&P 500 like Congress really does. And you can see right here, Congress, this is from 2021, so it's 2021 data. Obviously, we can't look at 2022. We're currently in it, but in 2021, this guy, Unusual Whales, made a chart of members of Congress that beat the S&P 500, and you can see that's a lot of members. And it doesn't matter what your favorite color is, whether it's red or blue. They are all on here, all of them beating the S&P 500 on information that is probably not public knowledge. You can see the top of the list: Austin Scott, Brian Mast, French Hill, John Curtis, Dan Crenshaw, before Nancy Pelosi, which is funny why like none of these guys are talking about. Maybe Austin Scott should be the like face of Congress insider trading, but Nancy Pelosi is for some reason. But she isn't even the best in the business, but she's up there. So it's just crazy that these guys in Congress are allowed to trade on information that's non-public, that's not technically insider information because it doesn't have to do with directly inside the company, but it has to do with policy for the company, whether it's positive or negative. It's just crazy. They're allowed to do that. And they're allowed to make laws and make rules as well as have financial interest in those laws and rules. So a lot of people rightfully upset that this is not being voted on, being pushed to the side till after midterms for some reason, where it'll probably continue getting pushed down the road until hopefully they're probably hoping enough people forget about it where they don't actually have to try and pass this. But it still goes back to the point where if it's a law for Congress and Congress enacts it on themselves, they're just not going to enforce it. Like, if you would rather make tens of millions of dollars or enforce a law that says you can't do that, you're just not going to enforce the rule. I think a much more fair way to go about this is say instantaneous knowledge of when you are trading. Whatever stock you buy, whatever option you buy, whatever security asset, whether it's real estate or crypto stocks, whatever it is, you should have to tweet it out the minute that you're doing it, because we do live in the modern era and that is a thing that everybody can do. So you should tweet it out as soon as you do that. If you don't do that rule and you break that rule, it should be 90% of your investment plus profit that you have to forfeit up in whatever is the committee that has to do that. We still have that problem with the committee, but the punishment should be 90% of all of your money that you put in there originally, plus the 100% of all profits, if you made any, should be forfeited if you break the rules. It has to be something egregious. It can't be $200 that no one's even going to care about. So ultimately, hopefully something happens with this. I'm severely doubtful that it will. It's just not, it doesn't seem feasible. If you have to enact the rule on yourself, you're just not going to enact it. So there's a huge problem there. Can it be solved? Who knows? Will it be solved? Probably not. But that's gonna do it for this video. As always, don't forget to smash the like button and subscribe. We're on the road to 1,000 subscribers, and I'll see you guys in my next video.